Global dimension of the environmental law. Good morning, everyone. This week, I will be telling you about the global dimension of environmental law with a case study of Antarctica. I shall explain how the Antarctic Treaty System is linked to the sovereignty and territory, multilateral environmental agreements, compliance, harmonization, trade and investment, and the rights of environment. The Antarctic Treaty is an international legal agreement that manages Antarctica through peace, science, and cooperation. It prevents Antarctica from becoming a site of military conflict and supports scientific investigation, and that is why it's a good example for understanding how international environmental law can govern areas that are beyond the national control of the state. Antarctica is legally unusual in some sense because it is not a normal national territory. Some states hold historical territorial claims, but the treaty preserves those claims. That means the legal system avoids direct sovereignty conflict and focuses on cooperation, environmental protection, and scientific use. The Antarctic Treaty System includes Antarctic Treaty, the Environmental Protocol, its annexes, and institutions such as the Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting and the Committee for Environmental Protection. Combined, they form a governance system that governs human activity in Antarctica and harmonizes common rules for environmental management. The Environmental Protocol is a huge one because Antarctica is a natural reserve for peace and science. Article 7 prohibits mineral resource activities, except scientific research. The 2048 point is not an automatic expiry date. It is only a possible review conference trigger, and changing the mining ban would require a binding legal regime and agreement. The case study asks whether rare earth minerals in Antarctica should be considered for renewable energies technology. The benefits are that these minerals support batteries, wind turbines, and solar panels and clean energy systems. But the downside is pollution, biodiversity, destruction, public backlash, and the legal response under Article 7. The argument against mining is basically on legality, sovereignty, implementation, precaution, and precedent. The protocol already bans mineral resource activities. On the other hand, mining could rekindle competition over territorial claims. Antarctica is too fragile as a precautionary factor for a whole lot of mining operation. The Singaporean context. For Singapore, this case study shows how global environmental law affects small, trade-independent, and climate-vulnerable states. International law has an impact on Singapore from top to bottom through climate commitments, regional cooperation, and environmental standards. Singapore can also contribute from bottom up through technology, governance, and diplomacy. This issue also relates to human rights, trade, and investment. The clean energy transition needs mineral, but environmental protection is increasingly tied to the right to a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment. This creates a tension between economic demand, climate action, and environmental ethics. To conclude, Antarctica shows how international environmental law control activities in a fragile and politically sensitive area. The question is not whether minerals are useful, but whether international law should allow direction in a protected area. And if so, how to do so in a protected environment. Climate mitigation, Antarctica legal status, and Singapore's lawful role in securing critical minerals are the topics I will be discussing in the discussion. So here are the 3 discussion questions.